Hey guys, so is this thing unable to, it looks like it is unable to charge while I'm recording. Isn't that lame? Why though? Interesting. Well, we'll try to get through it. So what I feel led on to talk about today is this idea of, I just wrote it down. What was it? Sorry, a little harebrained. Yes. I wanted to talk about Christianity. So, Christianity, if you are feeling like there are a lot of things about Christianity that don't feel right, you are right. But you are not going to be supported in your belief that there is something wrong with Christianity. You will not be supported there. So I began to ask God what His will for my life was probably about 3 years ago. And it's taken 3 years for me to finally step into it. But that's because there was a ton of work that had to be done before I could step into it and embody that will and embody that mission into my life. And it was one of those things that, Christianity never felt right to me. I was always skeptical about it because things just weren't quite making sense. To give you an idea, just like the idea of God killing a whole bunch of children. Remember, there was a story in the Bible where there was a prophet who went into a town and they're, kind of got kicked out of the town, and there was a whole bunch of children that decided that they were just going to start throwing rocks at him and all that kind of stuff. And the Bible says that God sent a bear to go kill all 12 children, and then you have stories like, Sodom and Gomorrah, where God kills the entire city, and you have the Promised Land stories where God sends His people to Jericho and kills everybody in Jericho. And so the good question is always, and this is what didn't feel right. How could God be unconditionally loving? How can God be just, be fair, and love everybody and be a loving God if He's out here killing people left and right? Like, not even a little bit, like thousands of people, and it's funny because, when you start to look into Christianity, as I did, you start to realize that Christianity is not about truth. Christianity is not about God, and it's not about Jesus. It's not about that. It's about traditions. I found this out the hard way. I decided that I wanted to try to look into Christianity. I wanted to look into the Bible, see if maybe the Bible that we were reading was altered and wasn't 100% wholly perfect in the way that it's written, as we're taught to believe in Christianity. And just that idea, I got an immense amount of pushback from the church because you don't do that. Because, it's like, no, we're taught that this is God's perfect word passed down. We don't go there. We don't ask questions about it. This is God's perfect word. We don't touch it, And so I decided, you know what? I don't believe that. I want to find out for myself. So I started going down the road of the King James Version, because now there's like the New Standard Version, all these different kind of versions. I grew up on the King James Version because that's the one that I was taught was the original, the perfect, and all this kind of stuff. And I started looking into it to find out that the King James Version is just a translation of another translation of another translation. It's like, whoa, so we're not even reading the original scripts. We're reading these scripts that were like what is this, So I decided, let me go back to the first Bible, all of the texts brought together, that became the King James Version, with people, pulling out scriptures and changing things. Like, let me bring that. and to my shock to find that there was a Bible with more books inside of it. You know, there were a lot more books to the Bible than I had thought. And there were a lot of these books and a lot of these verses, and there's, you know, you follow these people, and there's just these spots where it's like the original Bible says one thing in a very specific verse, and then the King James Version completely changes that. And it's like that immediately, if it happens once, if it happens twice, if it happens 3 times in the Bible, then where can you take it perfectly throughout the entire thing, you know? And so I decided I was going to go follow that path, and that path led me down a very spiritually connected to God path. I don't regret that path. I don't have many friends now, none that are Christian, but all I want to tell you, and what I want to leave you with, because, you know, I'll be making many more videos and topics like that, getting a little bit deeper and all that, but one of the things that I want to leave you with is that you're feeling in your gut that Christianity is not what it's meant to be, portrayed to be, is correct. You should follow that feeling. I did, and it's led me 3 years later to a beautiful place, a truly abundant place, actually for the first time in my life, experiencing and understanding the fruits of the Spirit, you know, love, joy, peace, kindness, long-suffering, all that kind of stuff, and being able to embody that on a daily basis. Christianity never got me anywhere near this, and even whenever I was a choir boy and going to church, reading the Bible, doing my devotionals, it just never felt right. It felt wrong. It just felt wrong, you know? And spirituality, I think, is a personal journey. The connection that you have with God is a very personal journey. From what I've seen from the Bible and its translations, it's kind of obvious to me at this point, and of course down the road I'll bring more evidence. But as of right now, you know, it's just kind of, I've been able to kind of dig up and realize that the Bible is a very patriarchal book. It's designed to scare people, and it's designed to control people. And, you know, what happened a long time ago whenever they were making the Bible is that they realized that Jesus, who was a disruptor, came in and completely disrupted their religious beliefs, completely disrupted their religious institutions and their rules and their laws and the ways that they treated people. And Jesus came in and just showed a path of pure love. And they had to weaponize it, because they were like, okay, look, this guy is getting a following, people are following this guy, and now, you know, people are about to leave us to follow him. But if we can join him, if we can create this new religion that encompasses all of his teachings, but also puts in a lot of the rules and the laws and the things that we love, that we don't want to get rid of, if we can bring these two together and create this new book that's set for Christianity and all this kind of stuff, then that will be the new religion going forward. And that's what happened to the Bible. So it was created, I forget the exact, I'll bring them up in later videos, but essentially it was created from two institutions that were looking to maintain power. And I don't know you guys, but I've never been able to trust an institution whose sole focus was to maintain power, you know. But the Bible that we know at the King James Version was created from two institutions that were focused on maintaining power over the masses of people and keeping them in an oppressed situation so that they can continue to control them, right? And when you look at the church setup now, that's very much what's happening to so many people. And it's sad. It really is sad to see the church oppressing people intentionally in the name of you're doing the will of God. And but I'm going to leave you with this thought. There was something that was told to me at a very, very young age by my drunken uncle. Whenever my missionaries were trying to convert my drunken uncle from Mormonism to being Baptist. And it was so interesting, and it was the phrase that put me on the path that I am on now. And the phrase was, how can so many Christians use the same book but still point at everyone else and say, you're going to hell and I'm not? You know, you have Pentecostals, you have Baptists, you have Lutherans, you have Catholics, you have Mormons, and you have everybody who's using the exact same book, and they're pointing at each other and saying, you are going to hell. Think about that. Okay, I'll see y'all later.